الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. The surah after surah Al-Ankaboot, in which Almighty Allah spoke in detail about the fitan, the tests, the trials that man will have to go. It will be like the web of a spider, and the one creating it will be like the spider. The spider will put all its trust in the web, that with this web I will manage to catch. What is meant to be caught is me and you. It is the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that is the prime target. How that spider looks at a certain insect, and it has lost interest in all others, but it wants one. It will spin its web just to catch that one. There are certain spiders that make a certain web, that only if the light of the sun shines you see a glitter. That web will spread from one tree sometimes to another, as a bird is flying. That spider's eye is on a certain bird. It will put up that web in the direction of which that bird flies. And it will make it so unique, that if the light of the sun does not touch it, that bird will never pick up. There's a web right in front. The strength of the web is so much, but you can't see that web. That is the house of the spider. The spider has put so much of trust in that house that if this bird falls in, there's no getting out. The devil and the agents of the devil, especially when they see their web spreading further, and they see the people of Iman falling in, because of the schools, because of the universities, because of magic that has today entered the life of many Muslims, which was never there before. In the past, never before would Muslims experiment so much with Kabbalah, with gemstones, with looking at the stars, whether he's an alim, whether he's an alima. But when they find some amazement in a certain fun, in a certain theory, in a certain method, which allows them to draw powers, then they start having some unique dreams. In the dreams they see themselves as the person creating a revolution. They see themselves as a person who is being aided with the angels. And they fall so much for it, that the devil brings them into a trap, after which they find there is no getting out. A person who was performing his salah, he falls into a trap and he stops performing the salah. All in the hope that what am I doing now is even more closer to Almighty Allah. So the web of the devil, Al-Ankaboot, will always be there. It really spread from the time the Khilafah fell. Before that, if ever news of Muslims getting involved in magic, if it had to reach the Muslim judge, a punishment would have been given. Magic was always known as sihr. Sihr was known as kufr. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. It is in today's time, unfortunately, in many Muslim households, because we are finding a certain power coming into our hands, into our minds. With that power, if I can lift up a book which is in front of me, because of that power, if I start having wonderful dreams, if I start seeing myself as the star of the time, then sihr, which was always kufr, suddenly became for me 100% halal. Things which I knew is not for me. My power was in Quran, but now my power came into other things. It came into stones. It came into a necklace I will wear. I had to enter into certain shops to purchase something. I understood the nature of the shop itself is kufr. But because I was blinded of power, but that was the very thing that the Jews in the time of Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when a Sahabi radiallahu anh said, you all waited so many years for this Quran to come to you. How is it now that it has come, you all have pushed it behind your back? When the Jewish man said, do you want us to leave this knowledge of Harut and Marut and the power that it has given us for this Quran, we are not ready to do it. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala never let it be that the people of Iman, we are deprived of the power of Quran. It is this Quran that will see us in this world. More importantly, it will see us through every stage of the year after. It is sihr that will ruin us in this world. It will give a few days of power to an individual. But where will the jinn ever be faithful to man? To see man cry, to see man scared, to see man harming himself and others has always been his dream. And when the sihr spoils his life in this world, thereafter in the stages that are coming after, it is not going to get any better at all. After Surah Al-Ankaboot, which to a certain extent was a scary surah for the people of Iman, that is a very big fitna, and Almighty Allah has allowed this fitna, this test, ahasiban nas. Does that man really think that he will live in this world saying Iman and the test will not come? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ Indeed, everyone will be tested. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make it that our tests are always the easiest of tests for us, and that we never fail in any test. In the next surah, however, Almighty Allah again gives hope that when man thinks, will this ever come to an end? When will the help of Almighty Allah come? And when he looks around and he sees day by day the flags of the devil rising higher. A few years ago, you would never see the signs of Freemasonry so open and vivid. You would never see the Illuminati openly exposing themselves. You will never see the signs of the devil, the jali signs floating around everywhere. You would never hear people so boldly speaking of how they have now grasped the whole world into their palm, how they are moving forward for their dreams. It was all done quietly. As we see it getting higher and higher, many a person starts getting scared. That does it mean they are getting more powerful? Surah Rum was to give the answer. Alif Lam Mim غُلِبَتِ الرُّومِ فِي أَدْنَى الْأَرْضِ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ فِي بِضْعِ سِنِينَ لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدِ وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. It was the era of Makkah Mukarramah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his group of Sahaba radiyallahu anhum were facing great persecution at the hands of the mushrikeen. The people of Shirk had a great affiliation with the Persian Empire, because it was an empire worshipping the devil, open worship of the devil. Because Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was inviting to a deen, the deen of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the deen of worshipping one Allah and getting rid of idols. It was natural their affiliation at that time in Makkah Mukarramah was going to be more with the Christians of the world. Medina Munawwara had Jews, then there were Christians. A war was taking place. There was two empires, a Roman Christian empire, a Persian satanic empire. A major war was taking place. The believers were desirous that the Christians will win the war, because at least they are the ones who are calling unto one Allah. The mushrikeen were waiting for the Persians, fire worshippers, Satanists. You want to call them today Illuminati. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala made it that the Persians gained the upper hand. The mushrikeen were very excited, happy. They used it as a further method to taunt the Muslims, that as the Romans collapse today, your turn is also going to come. You will also not stand. When a mighty empire, the Roman Empire, could not stand, where's the Allah? That wording would hurt the believers. Almighty Allah revealed, Tasalli, Ghulibati Rum, that indeed today, the Roman Empire has been overpowered. Fi adna al-ardi, in a land not very far away. وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. But soon, after they have taken a great crushing, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala will make it. سَيَغْلِبُونَ فِي بِضْعِ سِنِينَ. In just a couple of years, you will find them standing again. The word bid'un referred to something between 3 and 10. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh had so much of conviction in Quran. He was ready immediately to bet. Although everything was against, when they collapsed so terribly, who would have thought in a couple of years they would bring such a power back with them? They would hit against the mighty Persian Empire and they would push it on the back foot. But Abu Bakr radiallahu anh's yaqeen on Quran, when others would have looked at this and says, but how? The Romans have been defeated so badly. The Persians are getting stronger by the day. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh would take a qasam. He would be ready to take a bet within a few years. And it was, within a couple of years, the entire thing changed. The Romans beat the Persians. Lillahi al-amru min qabl. Almighty Allah explains the reason, because for Almighty Allah is the decision. From before it was the decision of Allah. Allah allowed one party to win over the other. وَمِن بَعْدٍ, and after also will be the decision of Allah. Fitan getting strong in our era. Freemasonry becoming stronger in our era. Power being put in the hand of Satanist lobbies. Everything was on the permission of Almighty Allah. Almighty Allah is not at all out of this. Not a fiber moves. Not a plan is made of the people of evil. Except everything is in front of Almighty Allah. Everything moves according to a tartib and a plan of Almighty Allah. How before them coming up, it was Almighty Allah's permission. It was Almighty Allah's command that put the entire world in movement. He allowed them to get certain powers. Had Almighty Allah wished, there would not have been one jinn alive. There would not have been an Iblis who survived one day. وَمِن بَعْدُ, and after they become strong and mighty, many a time they think that there is now no one to stop us. Unfortunately, many a time the people of Iman also start thinking that now there is no one to stop them. لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلِ, from before it was, the matter was for Allah. And after they became strong, the matter is still for Allah. When the mighty Persian Empire collapsed, on the command of Almighty Allah within a couple of days, there's an indication, a lesson we can take. It was a day of cheers when the mighty Ottoman Empire, when the Khilafat crashed to the ground. It crashed in a manner very similar to Ghulibatir Rum. In actual fact, this word Rum, in the beginning, in the original, was understood as the land of the Romans. One was the land of Sham. But in the land of Sham, that was the place which they enjoyed. The capital of the Roman Empire, however, was the land of Constantinople. The land of what we call today Istanbul. That was known as Rum. That is why when we speak of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, that was the land of Rum. This Ghulibatir Rum, although it was referring to the destruction or the defeat that they got, what is called on the borders between Sham and Iraq. The Persian Empire was in Iraq. The Roman Empire, a great part of it was in the lands of Sham. But this Ghulibatir Rum, there was an indication towards this word Rum, that also now how we understood where Rum really collapsed. Rum meant the Ottoman Empire, the land of Istanbul, the land of Islam, the Khilafat of the Muslims. In that Ghulibatir Rum, man can see that Khilafat also coming down to the ground. Fi adna al-ardi, in a land not very far away, meaning from the heart of the believers. But وَهُمْ مِن بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. But remember that a time will come, fi bid'i sinin, in a couple of years, after having been defeated so terribly, سَيَغْلِبُونَ, they will also get ghalba over the enemy. Originally the ayat was referring to the Roman Empire in the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but unique is the text of Quran. Unique is the indications Almighty Allah has made. When Mustafa Kamal brought an end to the Khilafat, and he went out of his way to ensure that the name of Allah in the lands of Turkey will never be taken again. The adhan was going to be changed. Everywhere else, no one bothered of changing the adhan. For him, the adhan had to be changed. The Quran had to be banned. Secular studies had to be made compulsory. If a man wanted to see someone raping a religion, it would have been the manner Mustafa Kamal raped the religion of Islam. There was not going to be a scarf seen after that. There was not going to be a beard seen after that. Every scholar who was going to oppose the system was going to be removed, killed. And a hypocrite was going to be put up as a scholar. People would normally take to their teachers. Every teacher would be teaching. 70,000 masajid would get 70,000 hypocrites. All of them teaching a theory that there is no need for real Islam within the heart. Become more European at heart, you will progress in this. A hatred was created for real Islam. Completely shattered they were. But look at the promise of Almighty Allah. When that Roman Empire which had no real Allah, مِن بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ, that they will get ghalba within a couple of years. How could it ever be expected? How could the kuffar ever expect? But one is, how could the Muslims ever lose hope that after getting one defeat, this Islamic ummah will never stand up again? In recent times, when there was a failed coup in the land of Turkey, and Allah Tabarak Ta'ala saved the leader of the Turkish government, and after that, day by day, they are found progressing. How many a time we have heard on the tongue of Muslims that as long as they don't have the support of Russia, as long as they don't have the support of China, there's no way they will manage to remain standing against America. America will remove them very soon. Their days are almost up. This was because we grew up in that understanding that kufr is ghalib. Kufr has never been ghalib. Almighty Allah, when it allows it to stand, Allah allows it. When Almighty Allah wants, it falls flat to the ground. When this Roman Empire, which did not have real Allah, their religion was Christianity, which was already tainted with shirk. But if they could stand up within a couple of years with the decision of Almighty Allah, amazing. It is a question on our iman. Why do we find it that it's difficult to imagine the Muslim Ummah standing up again? As we will look in the world, we are seeing it. وَيَوْمَئِذِ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And when the final stand will take place, and Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make it, indeed we finding the signs that it is very soon. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bring it even sooner. But with afiyat, with izzat, with rahat, with salamati, it should not come and our own iman is tested. It should come in a manner that the believers on that day, يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, will find great happiness and enjoyment. In the era of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was the battle of Badr. They defeated the mushriks in the battle of Badr, and at the same time the news came that the Romans have defeated the mushriks. For the believers it was great happiness. بِنَصْرِ They will be so happy on that day with the help of Almighty Allah. يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Indeed Allah helps whoever He wants. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. Allah is the most strong. Allah is the most merciful. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ. This is a promise of Allah. لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ. And Allah does not ever break His promise. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Majority of people do not understand this. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. They only understand the apparent of this world. They look at what is called asbab. They look at what is called maddiyat, materialism. They look at the material power of one country and they say there's no way this other country will bring them down. They look at the technology, the advancement, sophistication. They look at the amount of spies that they have, espionage, and they find that the other Muslim country will not manage. They will assassinate them within a few days. They will collapse the economy. Why? Because the eye is on all the material things of this world. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. They have lost complete track regarding that which is beyond this world. It is called al-akhirah. أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا. If man cannot ever feel, things can change. If man has grown up seeing the Western world having power, a time came in the man, it was called an atheistic thought, that they will always remain in power. He grew up seeing the Muslim Ummah having no power. That atheistic thought entered the mind and the heart. May Allah remove it from all. That the thing will never change. Almighty Allah had made ishara. On that day the believers will be happy with the help of Allah. Allah helps who He wants. It is a promise of Allah. And Allah will not break this promise. But you cannot look at the madiyat. You cannot look at material power and then ask the question, but how will they manage to fight against them? Look at their drones. What will they put up against their drones? Look at their missiles. What will they manage to put up against their missiles? They will press perhaps a few buttons and a nuclear bomb perhaps will fall. How will they save themselves? When the eye is on the zahir of this world, man will get a lot of doubts. When the eye is on the qudrat of Almighty Allah, Almighty Allah says, أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Say to man, why does he not think regarding his own body? Look at our body at one time. How weak we were. And within a few years, where did the strength come from? When that child could not even crawl. And if someone had to say within a few years, forget moving by himself, he will be carrying somebody else. Have you not seen it enough that that very child who needed to be carried, a day came that he was carrying somebody else? Who gave that child that power? Almighty Allah in another verse speaks that look at Allah, min ba'di quwwatin du'fa. First Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, khalaqakum. Allah created you, that you were extremely weak and He gave you strength. Every person look around and you will see that the child who had no power, how much of power he got. In that he will take a lesson that no matter how weak you find the state of Islam today, as that child within a few years becomes one carrying others. This religion of Islam has carried in the past, and very soon inshallah it will be carrying others. Look at your powerful strength today, and then look at your grandfather and how weak he has become. The one who is strong today does not remain strong. The shaitani powers that we find us around us strong today, man just has to look around him and he will see very strong people of yesterday are no longer strong. Empires have collapsed in the past. We will inshallah see the collapsing of the empires of kufr around us. But to take himmat, just look around, look at your own body and look at the people around. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. Whatever has been created, the heavens and the earth, whatever is between them, it has been created for a purpose. وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. And everything got its time. When that time will come, there will be no state, no empire, no matter how strong they think they are, that they will be able to push away the decision of Almighty Allah. Almighty Allah says, أَوَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Why does man not move in the earth a little? فَيَنْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Then he can just ponder, he can look, what was the results of those people who were before them? If you are thinking of a mighty empire, Almighty Allah says they were mightier empires. كَانُوا أَشَدَّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً. They were much more stronger. Bodily they were stronger. وَأَثَارُوا الْأَرْضَ. How they would plow the lands. وَأَمَرُوهَا أَكْثَرَ مِمَّا أَمَرُوهَا. They were blessed with very long lives. We got a 60, 70 year lifespan. They were blessed with going into the hundreds. وَجَاءَتْهُمْ رُسُلُهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. When the messengers of Almighty Allah came to say to them, it's not going to remain forever, they were not going to listen. فَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَظْلِمَهُمْ. Almighty Allah did not oppress them, rather they oppressed themselves. They looked at their power and they began thinking, so much power can never disappear. ثُمَّ كَانَ عَاقِبَةَ الَّذِينَ أَسَاءُوا. Almighty Allah says, but the end result of those who had done evil, السُّوءَ. The end result was worse. It was a bigger evil. أَنْ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَكَانُوا بِهَا يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ. Once upon a time, they used to mock at the signs of Almighty Allah. They now became a source of mockery. They became the one that is mocked in the punishment. Every time when they are being given punishment, an angel will say to them, ذُقْ, taste this now. Are you that very person who had so much to say in the world? Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bless us with an eye, that we can see around us and take himmat and courage, that the decision of Almighty Allah has always been ghalib. It's a very unique verse, this, لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ وَيَوْمَئِذِ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. A person, when he reads news articles, a person when he reads, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save the people of Iman. Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hamid Sahib Damat Barakatuh, my beloved Sheikh, recently is stressing on this a lot, that in the present times, a person should not read too much of these conspiracies. We all know there is a big conspiracy in the world, but the one who writes about the conspiracies, nothing will come out of it, except that a person loses more heart, he loses more himmat, more courage. He starts getting awed and impressed by the powers they have. Definitely they have always been. They are the most filthiest and dirtiest in nature. They have spread a web out in the entire world. But no one goes and studies the web of the spider. Rather from far a man says to the spider, وَإِنَّ أَوْهَنَ الْبُيُوتِ لَبَيْتُ الْعَنْكَبُوتِ. That, oh Mrs. Spider, Mr. Spider, I understand the uniqueness of your web. I understand how when an insect gets caught, how you grab him, how you turn him around, how you tire him, how you finally come and you put that poison. But all of that has not put me in awe. Why? Because I have seen many a time, as soon as a bigger power comes in front of you, your web collapses and you also become small. There is no greatness in you. When man reads all these theories, he runs behind it. He starts getting gripped in their awe. It is lies. They will not say the absolute, the complete truth. The truth is even more filthier than what is exposed. But what does a believer get out of it? A believer's one sentence is the words of Quran. With Quran he gets himmat. With Quran he gives himmat. This is a lovely verse of Quran. غُلِبَتِ الرُّومِ, that if you say the Khilafat came to the ground, no problem. Once upon a time, Rum also came to the ground. وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ فِي بِضْعِ سِنِينَ. But it was within a few years, after being destroyed completely, how they rose again. لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. For Almighty Allah, from the beginning was the decision, and after also, no matter how strong your kufr has become, for Allah will be the decision. And on the day when we will see you destroyed, how happy on that day will the people of Iman not be? بِنَصْرِ اللَّهِ, with the help of Allah. يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ, who helps whoever He wants to. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ, most strong, most merciful. وَعَدَ اللَّهِ, indeed this is a promise of Allah. لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ, and Allah does not break His promise. For the people of Hifz, the people who know Quran, use this as a wazifa. Whenever you look at the filth of the world of kufr, you look at the high flags of kufr, to look in their face and to read غُلِبَتِ الرُّومِ فِي أَدْنَى الْأَرْضِ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ. For the one who does not know the entire Quran, he can suffice on this one verse. لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. For Allah is the decision from before and after, and on that day indeed will the people of Iman be extremely happy. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bring that day very quickly. Cool the eyes of the people of Iman through that day coming. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bring Iman into every house. Allah open up the eyes of the people of Kufr. They also can realize what was really the path of Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, how far they have gone out. They can also come back onto the road. At the end of the surah, Almighty Allah then makes indication to what we mentioned at the beginning. If man has to look at his own body, he will understand that no matter what power you see at one time, it should never make you think that this power is not going to collapse. Allahu alladhi khalaqakum min du'fin. Indeed, it is Allah who created you from weakness. How weak that child was when the mother was holding him. She was just scared that if that head has to move slightly, the head can break. She was scared of dropping him. She was scared when he was on the floor, he would fall. He could not even hold himself while on the floor. ثُمَّ جَعَلَ مِن بَعْدِ ضُعْفٍ قُوَّةٍ. But it was that very Allah that after extreme weakness, what strength He gave him. قُوَّةً, that tanween is ta'zeem. Amazing strength He gave, that the child who could not hold himself became a man who was holding other children. ثُمَّ جَعَلَ مِن بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ ضُعْفًا وَشَيْبًا. But that state will not last forever. After that great power, again weakness will come, white hair will come. يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah is the creator of how He wants and when He wants. وَهُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْقَدِيرُ. He is the one who got power over everything. And from Qadr, He is the one that has set the time for everything. وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ يُقْسِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. This world is a few days. The people of Kufr will have a couple of days. The people of Iman will have couple of days. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ. Another verse of the Quran, Almighty Allah says, these are just mere days. We normally speak of a day, 24 hours. By Almighty Allah, the word day means stages. The day means this is one stage, and you got one stage. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. You got your day, he got your day. We turn it amongst the people. There are sometimes when you are high, and the people of Iman are lower, they were defeated. There are sometimes when the people of Iman are high, and you will be low, defeated. But amazing is the condition of Iman, whether they defeated on the battlefield, or whether they victorious on the battlefield. In both conditions, in the eyes of Almighty Allah, they are the victor. As for the people of Kufr, whether they are victorious on the battlefield, or they are defeated on the battlefield, in both conditions, they have lost from the beginning till the end. This will be seen, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةِ, on the day that the hour will be established. يُقْسِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ مَا لَبِثُوا غَيْرَ سَاعَةٍ. Criminals will take qasam on that day, that they had not spent in this world except a mere hour. It was only a small amount of time. Sa'atun does not mean the 1 hour that we know, that 60 minutes. Sa'atun in the Arabic language was referred to a small amount of time. كَذَلِكَ كَانُوا يُؤْفَكُونَ. How far they were from the truth. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ وَالْإِيمَانِ. The people of knowledge will say to them, the people of Iman will say to them, لَقَدْ لَبِثْتُمْ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْبَعْثِ. That Almighty Allah had allowed you to remain until this day has now come. فَهَذَا يَوْمُ الْبَعْثِ. Whether it was 1 hour in this world, 1 minute in this world, 30 years in this world, whether you were the king, whether you were the king of kings, you were the zalim, you were the azlam, the biggest of zalims, you were the millionaire, you were the billionaire, you were making decisions and forcing it on the world. But today, فَهَذَا يَوْمُ الْبَعْثِ. Even if you were given the time to remain alive till the day of Qiyamah, which you were not, but now the day has come. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Indeed, you did not realize this day is coming. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يَنْفَعُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. On this day, oppressors, مَعْذِرَتُهُمْ, no matter what excuse they will present, it's not going to help in one bit. وَلَا هُمْ يُسْتَعْتَبُونَ. No story is going to be accepted. They are not going to be forgiven. وَلَقَدْ ضَرَبَنَا لِلنَّاسِ. This is the beauty of Quran. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, indeed, in this Quran, we have given for man unique examples. مِن كُلِّ مَثَلٍ وَلَئِنْ جِئْتَهُمْ بِآيَةٍ لَيَقُولَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا مُبْطِلُونَ. Some people will remain blind to these signs, to these lessons. They will not be able to see how the victory of Islam is around the corner. No matter what sign you will show them, the most that the people of Kufr will say, that you are doing nothing but batil. What you are bringing is all false. There is nothing going to happen. كَذَلِكَ يَتْبَعُ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Almighty Allah says, a stamp, a seal has been placed upon the people, upon the hearts of people who do not have knowledge. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save us all. This was meant really for the people of Kufr. But amongst the people of Iman today, it is called Zihni Irtidad, where the mind has also been made a murtad, where man is told of the promise of Almighty Allah, of the coming aid of Allah, of a time coming where the state of Islam is soon to rise, to be ready for it, to be prepared for it, to wait for it. And the person's mind immediately goes to that who you think will stand up when they are so strong, when the West have everyone in their pocket. It's a Western world, it's a Chinese world, it's a Korean world. Where do you find a Muslim world? Which power will stand up? That seal, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save the hearts of all of us. When that seal comes onto the heart of people who do not have knowledge, then their tongues start wagging in the very way that the tongues of the people of Kufr wag also. As for the people of Iman, they must see Allah Tabarak Ta'ala's Qudrat is from the beginning till the ending. They must look around them at the changes of the world, how from weak a person goes to strong, how from strong a person goes to weak. No matter how he tries to fend away old age and weakness, he cannot, because it's the decision of Allah. Fasbir. And then the people of Iman have been ordered by Almighty Allah, so continue remaining patient. Inna wa'adallahi haqqun. Indeed, the promise of Almighty Allah is the most truthful. وَلَا يَسْتَخِفَّنَّكَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Those people who do not trust, do not have yaqeen, they should not make you impatient. They should not make you worried. They should not make you edgy, istighfaf. They should not make you light. You must remain firm, understanding that the promise of Allah, how Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, the surah started with him. He was so convinced. If someone had to say to him on that day, that how do you ever think the Roman Empire will stand? Where will they get their power from? Where will they find the soldiers from? All that where and all that how meant nothing to the heart of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. One promise of Almighty Allah, very soon, يَغْلِبُونَ, they will get ghalba. How Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was ready to bet on it. He was ready to take qasam on it. There was no doubt at all in his heart. And no matter what people around him would say, but it would not create any waver in his yaqeen. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala grant us that yaqeen. فَاصْبِرْ إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٍّ. Remain with patience. Verily the promise of Allah is the truth. وَلَا يَسْتَخِفَّنَّكَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Just because around us there are people who do not have this conviction, that must not affect us at all. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make us the people of Iman, of true Iman. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala open our eyes, the eyes of the head, the eyes of the heart. Let us look around us and see the changes. As we see these changes, this word must come on our tongue. لِلَّهِ الْأَمْرُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ وَيَوْمَئِذِ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِنَصْرِ اللَّهِ يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ, the promise of Allah. لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ. And Allah will never break His promise. We wait for the help of Almighty Allah to fall on the people of Iman. On that day, the hearts of the people will become happy. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala in His kindness bring that day for the people of Iman very quickly. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.